All right, so the first one says, how do you write a content brief? Can you go a little bit through your process? You know, I don't really do content briefs anymore because I have a blogger that she's been working for me for over 10 years now. And she does all that whenever we got to do authority content. I don't even mess with it anymore. I haven't done a content brief myself in probably 2 years, other than what I do for my own lead gen assets or clients, which, again, I've simplified my business to where I only work with tree service contractors. And so the template is just stupid easy. And so I don't really have to do content briefs anymore because, again, I have a blogger who handles all that for me. Um, but just to show you, this is the SOP software that I use, Foster, and here's the SOP for deploying what I call LLG sites or local lead gen sites. Very, very thorough SOP. This is part of the DHA program, but Mastermind members have access to this as well. I have one. These are for LLG sites deployed on high level, but there's another version of this for building and deploying the same exact sites, but in WordPress instead, which God bless anybody that wants to work in WordPress anymore. I don't. If I never have to work in WordPress again, it'll be too soon. So tired of WordPress. I love high level sites now. I really do. I used to hate them, but they're great now. They perform so much better. But anyway, to get back to what I was saying, right here is where I have content prompts from using ZimWriter, and that's all I do. And these are the content prompts that I use for these LLG sites, and these are just examples of what. And by the way, I don't expect everybody to use ZimWriter, but I'm certainly not going to provide prompts examples for all the different AI writing apps. So I use ZimWriter, and so does the rest of my blogger. She uses multiple content tools, and but for all my team that does fulfillment for my local SEO clients, et cetera, we just use ZimWriter. And so here's an example of like a homepage prompt. This just is like if you've used ZimWriter, like SEO Writer, you go into ZimWriter and you click the button for SEO Writer, and then it pops up with like this, kind of skinny and long form basically that you just fill out with the instructions. And that's where you'll see this is exactly how I optimize for a homepage for LOG sites. Then there's a service page prompt that's done like this. And again, this is all in SOP format so that I can plug my team members in here and they can build the sites the exact same way that I do. There's the location page prompt. And that's all. I mean, it's quite simple. Like I said, I don't do a ton of, I'm in local SEO. And what I have found, especially recently, is that local SEO does not require near as much content as people think it does. Not near as much as they do. What matters in local SEO, according to my testing, which I mainly work with service area type businesses, is that page structure with the proper SEO title, headings, and subheadings has way more of an impact than the content does on whether a page ranks or not. But a page also, in order for a page to rank well, it also has to have good site structure, because a page on its own right now is part of a larger site where, I mean, it's always been that way, but Google used to treat pages differently. Now it takes into account the rest of the site, that thanks to the helpful content update, right? And so proper site structure and then internal linking is incredibly important too. But what I found is that like using Page Optimizer Pro or Surfer SEO or On Page AI or any one of the apps, go to AppSumo right now. You can find a dozen, content writing and tuning and optimizing apps and all that stuff. All that shit seems to be overkill on local SEO. Now, maybe there are some local SEO industries that that's still a significant ranking factor. But what I have found is that it's for most local SEO projects, especially service area type businesses, what matters through my testing is that well-developed service pages that thoroughly describe the services, but the location pages can be minimal and very minimal. And they will rank if the site structure is done properly and the internal linking is done properly, then the location pages will rank for local search queries with bare bones content. Like literally, it can be just headings and subheadings, navigational elements, and images, things that, again, remember, Google is reading the entities within images or media. So any kind of media that you can add to the page that's relevant, which is part of the reason why I still, to this day, am referencing geographic or points of interest, what I call geo-relevance data on location pages. I have not had the bandwidth or taken the time to test with removing that. But I'm still using kind of what I call geo-relevance data to add geographic entities into the page just to make it more relevant. And what I found is with local SEO, it was service area businesses, which is primarily all that I work on. You really don't need a lot of content. And so because of that, I don't do content briefs for this stuff. I just literally go do the topic and category research or entity research that I've been teaching about for 2 years now, which is going to Google and searching with Wikipedia appended, identifying the entities that are relevant according to Google to the search queries, and then starting to organize that. And then I develop page structure first, and then site structure and internal linking from that analysis. And then from there, like I said, it's very minimal content. The service pages, I like to flesh those out and have thorough descriptions of the services. But the location pages, each time I do a build now, I reduce the content a little bit more and a little bit more just to see at what point does the location pages stop performing. And so far, we haven't really hit the. I've even done some testing where I've stripped the content from the location pages other than headings and subheadings and images, media, and still been able to rank in low competition areas. So I'll show that to you guys in a minute because I think there was another question about that. But just to answer your question about this, do I have a content brief? No, I don't. But most of the decent, on-page optimization apps and content tuning apps like On Page or Surfer SEO, and all of them will give you content brief templates. Another one is what is it? God, I haven't used that in forever. Phrase, Phrase. I bought a lifetime deal a long time ago, and I haven't used that in forever. But Phrase does content briefs, Surfer SEO, On Page AI, all of them do it. So, just pick whatever tool that you like to use and kind of go through their process developing a content brief. Just stick with that. Again, just like Chris and I were talking about at the beginning of today's Hump Day Hangout, I've really learned, I guess because I'm getting older, more mature, that I want to keep my business as simple as possible. No shit. Simplification is, I'm all about simplifying right now as much as possible, right? Stick to just a few things, do them very well, and then just scale the shit out of that and stop overcomplicating everything. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. Sorry, I couldn't give you a better answer. It's just not something that I do anymore. So I love local SEO right now because it seems easier now to me than it has been in the past. I'm not kidding. It's more logical to me now than it used to be. I love not having to do all the redundancy and having the stupid, city time service page for every service in every city and all that like shit ton of content that is just stupid, rephrasing the stuff over and over and over again. And then you have all the stupid pages, and I just don't like doing that kind of stuff anymore. So I think the kind of strategy that I've been developing and testing with, which is a lot leaner, it's a lot simpler. Again, simplification, right? It just performs really well, and it requires a hell of a lot less work, right? Less setup work, less links, less everything in order to achieve results, at least from my own testing again. And I've taught dozens of examples of this across different industries too in the mastermind. I don't work in some of these other industries, so I can provide the framework, and then I just tell people in those industries like, hey, look, here's the framework. This is a great starting point, but it is going to require some trial and error and testing on your part, right? So I was just responding to a link building client that was asking about the mastermind, and he was asking about if I had examples of topic and category research and site structure and all that across other industries besides tree service. And yeah, I've done multiple examples: HVAC, plumbing and electrical, roofers, marketing agencies, home remodeling contractors, or remodeling contractors. So that's home remodeling, bathroom remodeling, kitchen remodeling, etc. All of that. So I've done many different examples of how to structure sites using topic and category optimization, etc. And so yeah, there's a lot of different ways to apply what I've been teaching, but I can give you the framework. I just can't give you the exact recipe because I don't know. You won't know without testing. SEO requires testing to be effective at it. That's why I say don't just listen to me or anybody else for that matter. Just, you glean information from people that you respect in the industry, and then you go set out to test it and prove to yourself that it works, or try to disprove them. I remember Chris Munch from used to be Press Cable, but then I think they changed it to, I can't remember what they changed it to. They changed the name of it, but it used to be Press Cable many years ago. And Chris Munch he set out when he launched Press Cable, he was preaching about, and promoting it as a tool to use to rank Google business profiles. At the time, they were GMBs, Google My Business. And I remember I set out to disprove him. And I said, I don't think this is true. I'm gonna prove him wrong. And I set out and I used nothing but press releases, and I tested across 5 different GBPs, or again, at the time they were called GMBs. And I'll be damned if I wasn't able to rank all 5 of them with just press releases. And so I was 100% wrong, and I admit to that. Like, I set out to disprove Chris Munch, and I was wrong. He proved me wrong. And so then we ended up launching a program called Local PR Pro. That it doesn't work the same way that it did back then. That was several years ago. But press releases are still powerful for local SEO when done properly. But just to that, my point is that, again, all I've ever done in my SEO career is to learn from those that I respect, and then develop my own flavor from that. Right? That's it. And then just give credit where credit is due when you do that kind of stuff, And I think that's reasonable. That's all anybody can do in this industry, right? Just try to develop your own kind of, again, SEO flavor from what you learn. You mix and match bits and tidbits of information or tactics, etc., from various people, and create your own style. And that's all I do. And then I just teach my style, and I expect people to do the same thing: is learn a little bit from me, learn from others as well, and make your own style. Right? I'm not telling you that my way is the only way. In my opinion, my way is the best way, but I'm biased. You know what I mean? I'm saying I don't recommend anybody just believe any one person. Go out and test it for yourself. Prove it or disprove it. Either way, you've got your answer. You know what I mean? So hopefully that's clear.